Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another speed build for the Disney save. So today we are going to be working on a hidden lot in the game. This is Sylvan Glade, which is the lot that you can access from the big beautiful tree that I think it's over in my Belle's Village area. I don't actually know what that lot is called otherwise, but kind of over by where I've placed the Bimbette's house. If you interact with that tree for a while, you can get access to this lot. And you can actually build here if you enter a cheat that gives you the ability to do so. So originally there is like a small pond here, and I think you can just come here and go fishing. There's not a ton to do here as far as I can see. I think it's like it's just supposed to be a cool interactive, like you can go fishing, you can gather supplies, there's like places to look around and maybe get some exclusive cool items, and it's just a cool thing in general to have like a different world in and of itself that you can go to. But I decided that I wanted to make sure that all of the hidden worlds in the game that I can access and build on have something unique and different placed on them than what you would normally get if you just had the actual game. So a little bit something extra for the Disney save, a bonus video, and because of that, we're going to be going completely off of theme for everything that we've done so far. Basically, up until this point has been exclusively The Rescuers, Princess and the Frog, and Beauty and the Beast, and this is our first Alice in Wonderland lot. So this is actually the White Rabbit's Cottage, and the reason I decided to go for this, I was originally I wanted to go for something that was Alice in Wonderland themed, because part of the movie is obviously that Alice gets to travel to this magical world that is outside of her own, so very much in theme with the idea of this lot in general, being able to travel to like this crazy world. But then I was scrolling through Disney Wiki, which if you guys don't know is it's kind of like an informational Disney Wikipedia that I don't know if it's always the most accurate because I feel like I have seen mistakes on it before. However, I do use it to get a lot of information or touch up on facts and knowledge for movies that I haven't maybe seen in a while. And I was scrolling through the locations category trying to find something that had like a pink sort of glow and essence, because as you can see, this world is very pink, very, very bright. I do have a reshade on my game, so it's always going to be brighter than it probably would be in your game if you just play without a reshade, but very pink. Even if you switch the time of day, it doesn't change at all. There's no nighttime here. I was totally amazed by that. It stays exactly like this the entire time. So again, I am sorry if the pink is a little bit overwhelming, but there was no way to turn it off necessarily. And I was scrolling through trying to figure out what I would build, and the White Rabbit's Cottage immediately caught my eye because although it's a white rabbit and you would think white and maybe like a little bit more classic, like Snow White and just like simplistic, it was still super pink. Like a lot of the paneling was pink. It had pink brick. It had a pink fence. It had all of this like pink theming on the outside. And I was so perplexed because in my head, that's not how I remembered it at all. I also didn't remember that this was the actual White Rabbit's Cottage. So it's been a minute since I've seen the original Alice in Wonderland, but it fit super well. It was just small enough that I felt like I could put it here. And also it wasn't a huge loss if I wasn't able to completely make this a residential, because as far as my knowledge of the game goes, I don't think I can have anybody technically live here. This is more like a once travel destination, and I think your sim might kind of lose it. I think I would have to build a separate home, and then they would have to come here and just kind of never leave. And I didn't want to do that. I've already kind of explored that idea with Dr. Facilier, so it was not something that I was willing to put too much thought into. I just wanted something that was really iconic, really kind of simple. And one of my patrons had actually suggested Rapunzel's tower, which I felt like would have fit beautifully here, and it was probably the right size as well. I probably could have made it work, but I really wanted Rapunzel to actually be a part of the save, which is the only reason why I didn't choose that. It had to be a character that I was okay with having their home represented, but maybe not having their character represented in the game. Not to say we might not do a White Rabbit, like magician kind of a character at some point, but for now, I'm not currently planning on including him, so it was okay if this was what ended up happening. So it's empty. Like, you would come here and this would be just like a neat little surprise. I imagine people who don't see this video are going to find it kind of funny that they come here and find this here instead of the little pond that used to be here. And I think there's a lot of theming that we're going to explore on the inside. A lot of the furniture, when I was going through the movie and like watching this section of the movie to make sure I got the inside of the house right and everything, the whole house is themed after bunnies. So everything is decorated to look like a rabbit. Everything is themed in things that rabbits would like. There's like carrot cake on the table. There's carrots in the garden, obviously. So it's really kind of quirky, fun, simple, really brightly colored, a lot different than some of the stuff that we've done so far that's more classic and straightforward residential homes. This one's a little bit more whimsical, and I got to have some fun with it. So, it does include a garden. There is a little garden off to the right, and it is, of course, going to be a carrot garden, which is completely from the debug menu. They're not actually planted, although I think you can plant carrots in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but I think you could. However, I just kind of wanted them to be represented as actually being fully there. And I did add 2 gardening stations from Eco Lifestyle to the end of this garden. So if you wanted to come here and actually garden and like do all of that, you would still have that ability. You just wouldn't be able to mess with like this portion of the lot. But I thought it was cute. It was like a cute little theme for the whole idea of it all. So I thought it was something a little bit fun and different. And the interior, I definitely struggled with it because it wasn't probably what I would have done with the interior in general. Like, I was using a lot of reference, and sometimes it's really hard to use a reference and stick with it because they'll make choices for the Disney movie that make a lot of sense and look good in that context. But then I try to translate it over to The Sims and it really doesn't feel right to me, and like my natural builder instincts kick in and I kind of want to change some stuff. One of the things being this floor, weirdly enough, even though this cottage is very brightly colored and a lot of the furniture on the inside is pink and purple and green, they went with a black floor in the movie. So I thought that was a little weird. I did stick with it originally, but I am going to tell you at the end, I did decide to go with the deeper, darker brown and switch it out. I just couldn't bear it. It was so conflicting with all of my knowledge of building and everything that I like to do. Like, I would never, ever, ever do stairs and floor that don't match each other. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I also am not a really big fan of trim and floor that doesn't match one another. And that sometimes I have to just kind of do whatever the game allows. So like this wallpaper in particular doesn't come with a brown trim at the bottom. It only comes in the white. So we stick with the white. And in real life, a lot of people would do like a white. I feel like if I had a darker floor like this, I would still do a white trim. But honestly, if it was my house, I would just get rid of the darker floor. I would do like a light floor. So there we go. I tend to like the lighter colors, but I do have little building rules and it's hard sometimes to stray away from them knowingly because of things that I'm seeing in the Disney save when I feel like I have to really translate it over one for one. But for the most part, I would say that this is pretty accurate to a lot of the screenshots I was seeing. There is one room that is probably missing from this cottage. One, because I couldn't quite figure out where it was located. So I had this really weird thing that happened because I watched this portion of the movie in Alice in Wonderland so I could see Alice entering the home. This is the scene where she finds she's looking for somebody, and she enters the home and she goes upstairs and she finds the cookies and it makes her grow really big, and then she becomes like encapsulated in the home and ends up stuck inside of it, and then they're trying to figure out how she's actually going to get out, and the White Rabbit is kind of freaking out because he's getting his home destroyed by her. So I watched that entire scene, and then just for added context, I went to Disney Wiki to see what information I could get about the cottage and what other screenshots maybe people had taken, and there was one that kept getting shown as being a part of the home, but I couldn't find it in the scene at all. Maybe it's maybe it would be shown if I had actually watched the whole movie, which I didn't have time for that day to sit down and rewatch all of Alice in Wonderland. I had actually watched like a different Disney movie several times that day, so it just wasn't going to happen that day. But It might be missing one room, I guess is what I mean to say, but I think that that's okay. I kind of combined a lot of the ideas that I had seen with the living room, the dining room area. There's no kitchen in this house, obviously. I don't even think it showed a kitchen in the movie. There was just no room, and I wasn't worried about this being a fully functional house anyway. I think I did end up sticking a cooler outside around the back side of the fence, kind of hidden, so that if you were desperate for food and you wanted to hang out here for a really long time, you would at least have that. There is a bathroom upstairs, and there is a bed upstairs, so you will be able to stay here multiple nights if you wanted to, and if you already have food or you can live off of the cooler food, then that sort of works itself out. But I wasn't too particularly worried about people staying here for long periods of time. So it didn't need to be like a fully functional house. It just had to have some stuff that might be nice if you wanted to take a little vacation here. This might be a cute hidden vacation home, or I don't know, whatever you guys wanted to do with it as far as like whatever you're going to do with the Disney save, or if you're just going to download the lot off of the gallery, that's completely fine with me as well. I will say I did cut a little bit of the footage upstairs. I had a bit of a builder's block by the time I got up here. I think this was my second build of the day, and it was getting later on in the day, so I just wasn't really feeling it by the end, and I wasn't sure how to quite use the space and fill it all up. I was having a hard time with that archway right in the front, and it had to stay there because it's literally exactly how it looks in the movie, so there was just no way I could move it, but it was a little bit awkwardly placed, and ideally I wouldn't have liked to have actually kept it there if I was able to. It is a 2 sim bed, so you could have more than one sim here, and there are a couple of cute things in here. I think I went with the vanity as well, so you could come here and get your makeup done. You could stay for a while. It would be a cute little place to hang out for a little bit. I think if I was playing and I didn't know that this was here, I would just be excited to pop in and see all of the furniture that I tried to theme after rabbits and bunnies everywhere. I tried to find every item in the game that I could that was themed after any kind of rabbit. One of the problems with trying to do something like that is a lot of the times things aren't what you would think they would be called in the catalog. So if I'm looking for a bunny object and I type in bunny, I won't always get all of the bunny objects in the game. So you kind of have to know that they're there. And one of the things that I saw in the movie is that a lot of the furniture itself actually was shaped like a rabbit. So the chairs would have tall ears hanging off of them. The bed had ears hanging off of it. The clock tower had ears hanging off of it. So we do have these tall kind of lights that are sort of shaped like rabbit ears. It was probably the best that was going to happen, that come in quite a few colors. And I think it's for My First Pet stuff, but it might be from Cats and Dogs, but probably My First Pet stuff. Because it's one of those items I probably never ever use, but for this, it felt like it was obviously super appropriate. So I meshed a lot of those into the chairs, the tables, the bed itself to kind of bring the whole theme together. And then using like a lot of the decals and the bunny stickers from some of the childhood packs and the base game in general, which I thought were really cute. One of the wallpapers, I kind of covered it in bunnies and thought that it would be fun to redecorate it to kind of make it look like that as well, and do some of that trimming across the top, whatever that, the beaming across the top of the ceiling that was definitely a part of the home when I was seeing a lot of the screenshots from the movie. And that is going to be the end of today's build. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. If you would like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, it will be linked at the end of the video as well as in my description box down below. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Hit that little bell icon below to turn on post notifications so you can get updated every single time I post. And I will talk to you all in the next one.